Hello everyone, welcome back to Copperline Rattler Ranch. I'm Julia, and my husband and I are here building our retirement home, mostly by ourselves, just the two of us. But today's episode is going to be on lintels and why they're important in a natural build such as ours. We're building our earth bag home in a more traditional fashion, straight up and down walls, right angles, more of a traditional squarish rectangular shape than the round shape, and that was personal preference, mostly of my husband's. He just didn't feel comfortable building a round structure, and that's fine. We can build this structure in a more traditional rectangular way. But one of the concerns when you're building in a natural way is if you've got window and door openings, you need to protect the integrity of that shape. You need to keep it from bowing in, keep it from bowing down. And we're going to be leaving our frames in place, so it's not a huge issue, but if ever we decided to maybe take them out, or if somebody else did, or for a different kind of build, this would be very important. So the lintel is the structure that we put above that opening, the opening for the doors or the windows, or for example, this is going to be a bottle wall in our bathroom, so when the light in the evening shines through, we'll have all these wonderful colors coming through with it. But the purpose of the lintel is to take the weight from the roof and the courses above and direct that weight not on top of that opening, but to take that weight and distribute it down the sides on either side. That way it does not compromise the integrity of the opening for the door or the window, or in this case, our bottle wall. So that's why the lintel is important. We decided that we were going to do something kind of rustic. We're using old railroad ties. And I know that they do contain hazardous materials. We did wear protective masks or N95 masks when we were doing any cutting, and Dawn did clean them up pretty well. Once we're done with the next few courses and we're ready for the roof, we will seal these so that there won't be any leaching of those chemicals, as rainwater falls, or any of that chemical smell inside the house, anything that could be dangerous. We don't want that to happen. So we are going to be sealing these with probably a nice heavy few coats of polyurethane or a varnish of some sort in order to keep all that stuff contained within. So we're going to take you along and show you how we've done some of these lintels. We have 4 windows, not counting this one, but the windows will have double sash so we can open from the bottom or the top, 1 pedestrian door, and 2 sliding doors. The sliding doors were the most challenging because those are quite large openings. They're 6 feet wide. There are different types of lintels. For example, like I said, we are using the railroad ties because they're very beefy, very sturdy. Like I said, we're going to make sure that we encase everything so that there's no leaching of the chemicals that are on those. Other types of lintels that people often use will be fresh wood. That was really expensive at this particular time. The pandemic has caused some issues with a lot of supply chains. So this is why one of the reasons we went with these. You can use natural logs. You can use laminated wood, say for example 2x4s or 2x6s, 2x10s, whatever you feel you need, all laminated together in order to form that nice strong structure above your opening. There are also things called box lintels, and it's basically you build a box, open at the top, and you fill that box, sometimes with concrete. Some people will fill it with like a lava rock. I can't remember what they call it, scoria, I believe. Or you could probably even fill it with some heavily tamped rammed earth or earth bag type material. The purpose, like I said, is to help keep that integrity of the window or the opening, keep it from changing or altering from the weight of the structures above. So we're in our laundry. And this is actually a shed that we purchased in Sierra Vista. And this is the type of header, is what I was used to calling them on a traditional stick build. I don't know if they call them lintels. I'll have to look that up. But this is what it looks like on a traditional build. We went to Tucson and found a guy that was selling railroad ties. We're going to use these for the lintels in our house. And before anybody panics, we are planning to seal these. Once we get them in place, we'll put some sealant on them to help keep any toxicity that might be remaining in them from leaching out into either the plaster on the walls or, you know, during the monsoons dripping down onto the ground or anything like that. So we've got some measures in place. They're not going to be put in the ground. They're just going to be used as lintels over the windows and doors. So we're going to give it a go. These things weigh about 200 pounds a piece. We're going to go through and sort out the best ones and the best sides of the ones that we want to go on the lintels. They're pretty good chunky size. Wow, I'm just so impressed. About, like I said, 200 pounds each. And then something that I found out doing a little research, these are all stamped on the ends with numbers. Some of them have an additional letter or something like that, but let me see if I can get it close enough for you to see. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Yes, you can. So this board here is upside down. There's a 5 and a 9. So this board was actually milled, I guess you would say, or produced in 1959. There's one down here that's 77. There's some that are like 65. So these are pretty old. Alright, so what we did to select the pieces that we want to use for the sliders, we turned everything up so that the best side was forward. We measured some of them because some are a little bit short, and then we decided on which ones, kind of dog show style, you know, we were going to want for the sliders. So Dawn's getting ready to move one. We're going to put those aside for now so we don't confuse ourselves and cut those for another window or door. So the sliders, we're going to use these full length, and we're going to just park them right over here on these blocks. All right, those are the 4 that we're going to be using for our sliders. We'll have the best face forward outside and inside. Right now they're kind of facing the same direction. The side that's going to be facing each other, you can see this is the side that's all chingered up that had the rails on it. Spikes through them, so we don't want that showing, of course. So those 2 sides are going to face each other. Sorry about the wind, but it's like Arizona, always windy. So the chingered up sides will face each other internally, and we'll have the 2 best sides of each of these facing outward. One outward to the outside, one outward to the inside. And we're not professionals. We're using old railroad ties for our lintels. And since they're so old, they are not perfectly matched as far as the dimensions, each one. We're doubling them up so that we can get the distance across the width of the wall that we need. It's recommended that your lintel be at least 3/4 the width of your wall that you're going to be putting it on above your openings, your window opening, your door opening. So these are only, I can't remember, 6.5 inches or so wide this way, so we're doubling them up. Our walls without mud, right now we're measuring 14 inches wide, just the bags themselves. So we're experimenting. We put one lintel up. It was a challenge. We put them up in 2 separate pieces with the cleats on each piece, and that was very much a challenge. So we're going to try something different. We clamped these together, and we brought the height of the shorter one level with the taller one, of course, with some scrap plywood that we had, and then we put our cleats on. So now we're going to turn this over, and on the opposite side we're going to tie them together on the top with barbed wire, some straight pieces rather taut, and then some helical type or twisted type, and that's going to be serving two purposes: help hold it together again as one solid unit, and then also prepare the top for the next course of earth bags, because we need that barbed wire excuse me, to grab onto those earth bags to hold them on. This is an experiment right now to do it this way. These are going to be hellaciously heavy because a full board, a full railroad tie weighs about 200 pounds. These are shorter with the exception of the ones that we're going to put over the sliders, but so everything else is a little bit shorter. This is the windows are quite a bit shorter than what the sliders will be, so they'll be a little bit more manageable. But like I said, it's just an experiment. It might be too much weight, and we might have to scrap this and start over. So we'll see how it goes. Well, that worked really well, the way we did it for that lintel, that we're going to go ahead and proceed that way with most of the rest of them.
you.